So we're going to mention that the trans Riot police, and I am being not literal there, the Riot police themselves are not transgender, it seems, but they're standing up for trans rights by beating back the transphobes.
But as Riot police, I mean, who are they going to be?
Well, the rioters like Posey Parker, I suppose.
Right.
So here's the first thing to lead into this. So we all know about the Pride police at this point. I don't know what to call them, but so this is Pink News reporting on the police being slammed for their plan to give LGBT plus folk confidence by putting rainbows on their cars. Yeah, that's totally what this is about. So the idea was that the police are going to dress themselves up like clowns, and this will give confidence to the LGBTQIA plus community to report hate speech online. Stunning. So if we go to the next one, this is how the police ended up looking. So this is the flare. I mean, I'm reminded of the Office Space meme. You know, you only have 13 pieces of flare. It doesn't show your personality. I mean, just look at the number of flags going on there. And this was the woman trying to defend that what they were doing totally mattered and totally wasn't just a waste of money. So if we go to the next one here, we have the Trans Riot Police. This is the newest iteration. You can see Turning Point. This is how your taxpayers' money is spent. If we can scroll down to see this. You got a guy with a riot shield that says "Police with Pride," and then it's the transgender flag on the riot shield.
And riot shields are, of course, weapons. I mean, I've been on. I used to be a criminal intelligence analyst, and I've been on ride-alongs with the police where they've. There's a guy with a knife who'd barricaded himself in a block of flats in Woolworth, in Woolwich, and they battered him to the ground with the riot shields. Which, you know, at that time didn't have the trans pride flag on them.
But now will, as they batter back the Posey Parkers of the world to teach them their place.
Which I'm not sure that's a great message to be putting out. If you're getting punched in the face with a trans pride flag, that's not going to make
just
you...
be tolerant, you bigots. I'll hit you with the shield. So we go to the next one. You have the Pride event itself, and you can see Leicestershire Police Special Ops. Apparently this is a real account. And you can see they're putting a whole bunch of pictures there, and then the Trans Riot Shield flag in the... Sorry, Trans Riot Shield. Yeah, Trans Riot Shield flag? Trans Flag Riot Shield. There we are. Get those words right around. So if we go to the next one as well, we have a close-up on the shield. So we have... scroll down, you can see this image. So it wasn't just a one-off. It wasn't a trigger the lights. No, it was a real thing. And if we have the next one come up, it turns out this is older than I thought. So we get the next link. This is 2017? So we will be live at Leicester Pride. Hashtag new profile pic. Hashtag 999 diversity. Hashtag LGBT Melton at LGBT Police Lancashire. With 2017 a close-up of the Pride. So they've been keeping that around special occasions. So I'm guessing they only bring it out for LGBT parades or...
For photo opportunities.
But then you got to think, you know, when you actually start with a riot situation and you're running out of equipment to use, someone's going to pick that up and they're going to take it to the riot, and you're going to have these row of police officers and there's one guy in the middle just being like, God damn it. So we go to the next one. Turns out this police force is worse than I thought. So there should be a link in there of the police with the furries, if you can get that up, John. So, because it turns out in 2015 they actually decided to pose with furries as well.
Oh my God.
You know what furries are, don't you?
Yes, I do know what furries are, and I'm pretty sure they're not a sort of protected characteristic under. They're people who want to dress up as fluffy animals. The most disturbing picture I ever saw of furries was a kid, like a toddler, petting a furry who obviously just thought it was a dog, but it wasn't. It was a guy in a dog suit like this
that he has sex in.
Yeah, because it's a sexualized thing. I mean, I think the whole sexualization.
That's why they're at Pride.
Yeah, man, and like, Pride. I think obviously, you know, it's great that people can come out and, you know, celebrate and show that they're visible and, you know, they're part of society and stuff. But this like modern insistence on dragging children to Pride, I think, you know, apart from it, if I was like dressed in leather shackles and things like that, and like and expressing that side of myself,
you'd want me to hit you with the riot shield to get back in the closet.
I wouldn't want kids there. You know what I mean? Yeah. They'd be cramping my fun. I'd feel like I'd have to put on some trousers.
Yeah, I mean, you would think the people in the fur costumes or leather straps around kids would feel a bit like a pedo and be like, maybe I should get changed. Yeah. No. So this is 2015. Leicester Police, Vance, thumbs up. I love that. This is their account. A big thumbs up for the police posing with furries on their LGBT bike as well, because of course they do.
And so, why can't they just go and solve some crime?
Like have
you been a victim of crime in the past couple of years?
Well, if it was a crime from the LGBT lot, then I also wouldn't get justice anyway, would I?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not talking about being misgendered.
No. I mean, you remember the LGB Alliance guy who went to the Pride Parade and then they physically assaulted him for attending?
Right.
And then he had to go to the police and be like, yeah, I was physically assaulted by the LGBT guys. And you got to think, if he walks to the police station and he sees them in their clown uniforms,
Yeah.
and he's like, am I going to get justice here?
Yeah.
It's like a black guy walking into a police station in the, like, I don't know, 1920s or something. They're all wearing clan hoods and like, maybe this is a waste of time. Yeah. So let's move on from this. So if we go to the next one, if you can scroll down. I don't know if I put the telescopic truncheons in here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so we get this first image up. This is my redesign to go along with that Riot shield, because I'm sure they're looking for adaptations. Got to use the racial pride logo as well. The old pride flag is out. So we go to the next one. This is my artist rendition of how we can see our police force in the future.
That is, it does look like he's doing a sort of like, ooh.
Ooh, get back. Anyways, sorry. So Fair Cop, Harry Miller, has reported them for a hate crime for that shield,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
That's hilarious.
So we have reported Leicestershire Police under its own hate crime guidance for their stunt with the Riot shield. So they say in here, an officer from a tactical support unit publicly displayed a tactical defensive weapon with colours of a political movement. Regardless of the context, I perceive this to be an aggressive, provocative act towards those who share my religious and philosophical political belief. In other words, I perceive hostility towards a monitored strand and wish to speak to an officer about my concerns. Fantastic, because they've done nothing wrong. Like, under the guidance, they are entirely within their right to do that.
Yeah,
They
no,
perceive
absolutely.
a hate crime / incident to have taken place,
Yeah.
and the police have to take Harry Miller's complaint seriously.
Yeah, well, absolutely, and they should. I mean, like, putting LGBTQ propaganda on weapons is...
I mean, it's literally,
that's got to be a hate crime.
you know the meme of, like, the bombs the Americans are going to drop are going to have rainbows and BLM fists?
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally going to go out and be like, yes, for tolerance.
Yeah. Although it kind of makes sense in that situation because I mean, a lot of the people they're going to be dropping bombs on do have, you know, problematic views on gay people.
ISIS have very specific views on homosexuality.
Yeah.
And if they get killed by a gay bomb, I don't think they're going to paradise, according to them. So probably for the best. So if we go to the next one here, so we have Harry Miller also making the point that there's a lady up in Scotland, as you mentioned before we started, about she's going to court for displaying a suffragette ribbon.
Yeah, Marion Miller.
And that's the thing. Harry Miller's complaint here that this is a hate incident. Well, if a ribbon is a hate crime, and you need to be taken to court for it, these officers displaying their Trans Lives Matters riot shields to the public, that's also a hate crime in England.
Yeah, I mean, just as a bit of context, so the ribbon, I don't think that's the actual picture of the ribbon that Marion Miller tweeted, but
the other one was much lower res.
Somebody perceived the ribbon to be a noose, or said it could be interpreted to be a noose. So that's a hate crime because that's you know, saying it like people should be hung or whatever. I don't know.
It made no sense.
I mean, it didn't look anything like a noose. It looked like a suffragette ribbon because that's what it was.
But a trans riot shield certainly looks like a riot shield to me.
Because it is a riot shield. And yeah, Marion Miller was arrested and charged, and you know, hugely stressful and just state intimidation, basically saying to
because
her,
she's a tough.
And anyone, she's a TERF, she's a trans exclusionary radical feminist, or just a feminist, basically.
She believes women are women and men are men. And
and there should be segregated spaces in certain situations, but which goes against what the SNP. The agenda that the SNP are pushing. So basically the state, the SNP are saying to Marion Miller and anyone with similar opinions, they're saying, we can get you, we can come after you, we can arrest you, we can charge you. Even if it gets thrown out of court and the court date keeps getting pushed back, it's the amount of stress
because there's the thing
that she's going through. She's got 2 autistic kids.
I know, some poor woman who's done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You know, she's going to get tried with this. But there's the thing, if they actually go for it, and say that she's committed a hate crime because she had a noose-looking ribbon.
Yeah.
Okay, then the riot shield, right? And if they say that that's not allowed, okay, what if you literally buy a noose, but then put it in the trans flag colours?
Yeah.
Is that now a hate crime, or is it not?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the courts have got to decide.
Well, there's so much dissonance with this because the laws are worded in such a sort of woolly way, and it's left, you know, so much to the discretion of the criminal justice system and to the courts. It's, you know, obviously even Harry Miller's own case, he was questioned by police and
check his thinking.
And and when it made it to court, the judge was appalled and said this, you know, doesn't even come near the foothills of illegality. But you know, then it's just the actual process of being arrested and charged is in itself intimidating.
I'm just thinking in my mind, if they say that the ribbon is a hate crime but the trans shield isn't, and then you've got the example I said of like, what if you buy a noose and just dip it in the colours of the trans rights flag? Is that? But even if they decide that neither of them are a hate crime, like if she gets let off and he gets let off, does that mean that the trans noose is then legal? Because I mean, he is actually worse than her here. I mean, he's got an actual weapon.
Yeah.
She had a bit of cloth.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, the case against the police officer is actually far, far stronger.
Yeah.
Because you can make the point, well, if that shield's not, well, then I can carry around a noose with trans flag colours on it, can't I?
Yeah.
Like, well, no, that's not going to be allowed, no, is it? So this officer is, there is a real argument to be had there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I thought I'd mention about what these people do as well, because the Rainbow Police of Diversity and Virtue. You can see here, Labour MP Zara Sultana, lovely Islamo leftist, love her account. Full of nonsense, good fun. So if you scroll down on this, you can see the new steps they've put in her place, which is the racial pride flag. You notice with the nice segregated black and brown stripes, the separate but equal area for brown and black queers. They can't be integrated with the rest of the queers. And remember, the term queer is being used by them, so it's being brought back, as they say. I just can't get over that. I mean, how as a progressive can you look at segregated black and brown stripe and think, yeah, that's progressivism.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it is actually. So.
Yeah, I mean the dissonance with all of this is just incredible.
Yeah, there's more of these. They're popping up all over the country in Britain. So we go to the next one. You got another one of these. So if you scroll down on this, this is Taunton Pride. Apparently they've set up some steps again with the racial pride flag, in which you've segregated again people of a different race out. I mean, it's not like the yellow stands for Chinese and red stands for Indian or something. That doesn't make any sense. That's not what's going on. I mean, it was always meant to be inclusive of all people. That's the point of the rainbow, right? And then we go to the next one. We have Taunton Pride. So Taunton Pride, also doing the same thing. And this guy here, he says, we love our beautiful hashtag rainbow pathway and hashtag Taunton. We are so beautiful in our differences and we are stronger together as a community. Hashtag it's okay to be you.
So if we're better and stronger together as a community, why are we separated?
Why are we segregating the black and brown specifically?
Yeah.
That's the question in my mind. She's like, look, if you work in a workplace and they ever bring out this flag, I mean, number one, it's also copyrighted, so you can't use it without the original creators.
Really?
Yeah, so that's the funny thing. Like the original one, just the rainbow,
Yeah.
that's public domain. Anyone can use that. The racial pride one, that's actually apparently still copyrighted by the original guy who made it.
No way. So is he making money every time a council paints a pavement?
It seems not. But if he was to turn around tomorrow and be like, hey, that's my copyright,
Yeah.
nothing could stop him.
Right.
That's the amazing part. But anyway, so the thing with this especially is that, again, this is the NHS. This is an NHS guy. So we go to this guy's account, the guy who posted this one, CEO of Norfolk and Norwich University Hospitals. Gotcha. We're back to the NHS again, wasting money. So this is the guy who set this up. So he said he's very excited that Pride Walk is now open. Thank you to all the team who helped make it.
Where is pronouns? I don't know what to describe.
Very disappointing. It's also a father. What's that about?
Is, yeah.
But also the fact that racial pride never ends. I mean, pride never ended, but now racial pride is with us forever.
Right, yeah.
It's not just 1 month.
Yeah.
Every crosswalk in the land must be... got the pincer movement in it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So I just wanted to think, like, if we're not celebrating racial segregation, are we even racist? I mean, that's the position of the progressives here.
Yeah.
I keep hanging on to it, but the actual fact that they segregated off black and brown and we're just like, yeah, this is tolerance.
Yeah.
So we go to the next one. There's more of this, because there's endlessly more of this, isn't there? So we have the Army LGBT plus network, taking a look at their inclusive culture within the Army's head of diversity and inclusion. This is how they describe their head of diversity and inclusion. A white in all caps, hetero, middle-aged, married man with 2 kids. In many ways, Briggs Christopher Coles is not the obvious candidate to oversee diversity in the British Army. And I'm just like, yeah, that's the framing. The fact that the head of diversity and inclusion is a white hetero man, that's a problem.
Surely the whole point of diversity and inclusion is everybody's included, so anybody could do this role. It doesn't have to be, a Somalian lesbian.
I love how they're also complaining that he has kids. It's like, what? He's married and has kids. What an awful person.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing this. This is the narrative just being pushed through, pushed by the sort of woke agenda. That these things are bad, and I think that's why so many kids want to transition these days. They're taught that being, if you're cis, if you're, just straight, then that's bad. That's boring. You should be interesting. You should be cool.
And again, this is the Army. I mean, if you can scroll down on this, just show people it is a verified Army account. The British Army. Fantastic. I'm glad they're doing their best to defend us instead of wasting their time on ideology. No, that's what they are doing. So there's them complaining that a white man has dared to get the role of head of diversity inclusion. If you go to the next one, we also have the Royal Opera House, who's giving away £100,000 in diversity hires, even though they're getting £20 million from the state.
I mean, I would expect that from the Royal Opera House, to be honest. But yeah, it's ridiculous that the arts gets so much public money. I mean, comedy is now recognised by the Arts Council, so comedians are gonna become form fillers, and they're gonna have to like kowtow to whatever the woke opinions are if they want to get funding for their. I don't know. I just think public funding should get pulled out of all these things. Why should bus drivers be taxed to pay for the Royal Opera House, for the follies of the wealthy?
But not even for the art. For the head of diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, for the whole thing. For the whole thing. It's ridiculous.
But anyway, talking about riot shields to beat back the Posey Parkers of the world, I thought I'd also mention some of the other absurdities that come out of this. Lockheed Martin's head of diversity and inclusion. I love this. I love this comment here. As the head of diversity and inclusion at Lockheed Martin, I aim to bomb not only Yemen, but also women. It's like
That's
fantastic.
a great line.
I remember watching. I think it was there's a podcast called Come Town, and they did a point on this where they were talking about there's like woke advertising for military companies. It's like the girls in Yemen are learning about electronics because we bomb them with electric bombs. Anyway, so if we go back to remember this Dimmy. So we go back here, just this Dimmy here. Like if you scroll down, just see what she's saying. It's the state of the police. Like looking at her lanyard that's rainbow coloured. I wear this all the time, so I'm an ally. I mean, it just comes off to me like someone who's been given a sticker or something. But anyway, so this was all about all of this stuff, all of this destroying of the impartiality of the police. It was all for a good cause. What was the cause? Encouraging people to report online hate.
Right.
What kind of online hate speech are we talking about? Let's go to the smear merchants, the Daily Record, who were very upset about a certain man, Count Dankula, for daring to make a comedy joke. How dare he? How dare he make a funny? Bad man. So, Nazi dog owner reveals he's been sacked over offensive video and claims his new boss doesn't care. You can see the salt going through here. You go to the next one. They were very happy when he got fined £800 for daring to do a joke.
It's ridiculous. And the whole essence of the joke is that Nazism is evil. The joke, the joke confirmed it. Yeah, because it's the dichotomy, the dissonance between the absolute cuteness of the pug, and the absolute evil of Nazism that makes the joke work. If he was actually saying Nazism was good, the joke wouldn't work.
What's even funnier is the Nazis actually tried. So in Finland, they had an alliance with the Nazis to fight the Soviets, and there was a Finnish guy who taught his dog to do a Nazi salute, and the Nazi diplomats got upset about this because they were like, "Oh, you're making the dog do it. You're making us look like dogs," And the Nazis tried to get him prosecuted, and they ended up giving up because they were like, "Oh, it's not worth our time." The SNP government in Scotland went further than the actual Nazis in real life against the Finnish man who taught his dog to do it. So there's that. They actually went through with it and fined Dankula £800.
Yeah.
So if we go to the next one as well, you have people being upset. Daily Record trying to shame Tom Walker for daring to say the right thing, which is Count Dankula shouldn't have been tried with all this.
Yeah.
But I'm very proud to report that all those rainbow cars were worth it, lads. People have been reporting online hate. Who's online hate? The Daily Record. Let's go to the last one. The last one here. A number of historical tweets from some of our writers have come to our attention. The Daily Record takes any claim of discrimination or hate speech very seriously, and we have launched a full investigation into the matter.
Yeah,
Comes back to bite them every time.
I saw some of these tweets, and yeah, some of them were pretty shocking. I don't know. Have you got any?
I didn't have the examples. I didn't know. What were they? If you remember.
I'm pretty sure there was anti-unionist and anti-Protestant tweets. I can't remember what else.
I was half expecting stuff about Israel with leftists, but
yeah, there's probably some of that as well.
But anyway,
there's the thing when stuff, the left aren't subject to the sort of self-examination that people on the right, because we're always being told that we're evil. We do sort of stay up at night thinking, is this morally right, and arguing things through in our heads and talking it through with friends. Whereas the left are just told, "Oh, you're completely right," so and the ends justify the means. So that's why people ended up, in cultural revolutions, shooting women in the street and stuff, because they felt that the ends justified the means, and because they've got this sort of righteousness, this moral certitude that it overrides anything else.
And there's a great point to mention the Mal's Great Famine Book Club. If you haven't watched that already on lotuseaters.com, there's an example of so there were kids who were being beaten to death by the cadres because, well, the ends justify the means, don't they?
Yeah.
So anyway, but these guys who thought the ends justify the means with hate speech are victims of their own force. And I just love Count Dankula's response to this. If we can get this last one up. Good boy. If people listening, it's just ha 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 ha. You know, because to hell with them. They deserve every bit of it, and I'm sure that every one of their writers deserves the fine/jail time that they have applauded all this way.
Absolutely. I mean, if it applies to Count Dankula, it also applies to Daily Record journalists.
If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to prelotuseaters.com and get access to all our premium content.
Things like our book club, where we examine classics like Aldous Huxley's Brave New World and examine the themes that underpin it, and how we're getting worryingly close to that, or modern books like Mark Sidwell's The Long March, which is how exactly we ended up in the current cultural situation we're in and what conservatives can do about it. Or you can check out the other series we have, such as our Contemplation series, where Hugo and Josh decided to, in the latest one, have a look at an examination on the ways that other elections have been rigged for no reason at all. Or you can check out our Epoch series, which is one of my personal favorites because this is where I get to talk about history. And I love talking about just random things from history. And one of the great things we can do with this series is talk about those things that aren't so often discussed. So, I mean, you can talk about Xerxes' army, the vast army that invaded Greece during the Greco-Persian Wars. Or we can go through things like Herodotus' view on the Scythians. Who are they? You probably don't know, but they used to be quite an important people a long time ago, and they're very, very interesting. We've got some really good reports about them. Or we've got premium podcasts, which is things we generally don't want to put outside of the paywall because we might get in trouble from, such as the list of things that Alex Jones was right about. Or we do just very interesting discussions because there are things that we do lots of work on. Another one is that I'm particularly proud of is where Christopher Hitchens, the famous new atheist, would have fallen during the modern culture wars, because he probably wouldn't have been very woke. But we also have lots of interviews and articles and other things on the website that you can sign up to enjoy, and we're really proud of them.
So if any of that sounds good to you, go over to lotuseaters.com and sign up for as little as £5 a month to support us keep the show going, and also to get access to all the content. Thank you and goodbye.